Allo Allo was a hilarious British sitcom that had fans laughing from 1982 to 1992 with its zany French cafe antics, memorable catchphrases, and unforgettable characters. From René's charming blunders to the scheming Gestapo officers, the show brought joy to generations. Sadly, many of the beloved actors who brought these characters to life have passed away, leaving behind a legacy of laughter. In this video, we'll pay tribute to the Allo Allo stars who are no longer with us, remembering their incredible performances, careers, and the impact they made on comedy history. Their memory still lives on in every laugh they inspired. Gordon Kaye was born on April 7, 1941 in Huddersfield, England, and was 41 when he began portraying René Artois in Allo Allo in 1982, stepping into the role of a beleaguered cafe owner caught between the absurdities of wartime occupation, amorous escapades, and relentless farce. René was the archetype of reluctant heroism, a man whose exasperation and wit drew audiences into a world where danger and comedy collided seamlessly. Yet behind the charm of the screen, Kaye's life bore shadows few could have anticipated. His childhood was steeped in isolation and self-consciousness. He was a shy, overweight boy who kept his homosexuality private in an era of deep social conservatism, often retreating into imagination to compensate for the teasing and exclusion he endured. Life-altering events punctuated his adult existence. The most notable was a catastrophic car accident during the Burnsday storm of 1990, leaving him with serious head injuries and a conspicuous facial scar. The incident also precipitated a legal battle for privacy after newspapers intruded into his hospital room, thrusting Kaye unwillingly into the limelight of public scrutiny and establishing precedent in British law. Professionally, he navigated fame with quiet resilience, maintaining a steady presence on stage and screen, despite the physical and psychological aftermath of trauma. He never married, guarded his private life rigorously, and channeled his energy into work, finding solace in creative expression and camaraderie with co-stars. Kaye passed away on January 23, 2017 at age 75 from complications related to dementia, leaving an estate estimated under $500,000. His legacy endures in the timeless portrayal of René, the comic embodiment of human vulnerability and clever survival, with fans and colleagues remembering him for both his artistry and his courageous perseverance in the face of profound personal adversity. Carmen Silvera was born on June 6, 1922 in Toronto, Canada, and was 60 when she assumed the role of Edith Artois in Allo Allo in 1982, portraying a woman whose tone-deaf enthusiasm, dramatic flair, and unswerving devotion to her husband made her an unforgettable figure in British comedy. Edith's comic incompetence belied the depth and resilience of Silvera herself, whose early life was shadowed by danger and upheaval. Her family narrowly escaped the sinking of the SS Athenia during World War II, an experience that instilled both a sense of fragility and steely determination. Silvera's personal life was marked by tragedy. A miscarriage ended her marriage, and she chose never to remarry, dedicating herself to her craft and to charitable work. Her professional journey was consistently punctuated by resilience, overcoming typecasting, and navigating the male-dominated comedy industry with grace, all while cultivating a distinctive screen persona that balanced naivety, charm, and comic exaggeration. Silvera's health struggles, exacerbated by decades of smoking, led her to spend her final years at Denville Hall, a home for retired actors. She died on August 3, 2002 in London at age 80 from lung cancer, leaving behind a modest but comfortable legacy built on decades of stage and television performances. Though her net worth was never fully disclosed, her enduring impact lies in her embodiment of Edith, a character whose comedic absurdity coexisted with poignant human vulnerability, ensuring that Silvera's voice, both literal and artistic, continues to echo in the annals of British comedy history. Richard Marner was born Alexander Pavlovich Molchanov on March 27, 1921 in Petrograd, Russia, and was 61 when he took on the role of Colonel Kurt von Strom in Allo Allo in 1982, portraying a German commandant whose officiousness, vanity, and occasional brutality made him a figure of both menace and absurdity. Von Strom's character was a perfect blend of authoritarian threat and comic timing, reflecting Marner's own ability to draw from a life steeped in upheaval, exile, and survival. Marner's childhood was defined by displacement born into Russian nobility. His family fled the Bolshevik regime in 1924, eventually resettling in Britain, a transition that exposed him to lost cultural alienation and the constant need to adapt, which later informed his nuanced performances. His adult life included service in the Royal Air Force during World War II multilingual fluency, and a career spanning film, television, and even commercial work, alongside figures such as Mikhail Gorbachev. Despite aristocratic roots and a globally varied career, Marner lived modestly in Scotland, away from the limelight that often shadows performers of his caliber. Personal and professional challenges included navigating typecasting as a villain, balancing the legacies of noble lineage with a working actor's pragmatism, and enduring the quiet isolation that can accompany a life of expatriate displacement. He passed away on March 18, 2004 in Perth, Scotland at age 82 from bronchopneumonia, leaving an estate of indeterminate value but a cultural legacy that immortalized Von Strom as one of the most memorable villains in British television. His performance remains a testament to the way lived experience, personal tragedy, and cultivated skill can converge to create a character both terrifying and absurdly human. A lasting imprint on comedy history that continues to captivate audiences worldwide. Kenneth Connor, born on June 6, 1918 in London, took on the role of Monsieur Alphonse in Allo Allo in 1984 at the age of 66, portraying the flamboyant undertaker whose theatrical antics and rivalry with René provided a consistent source of comic tension. Alphonse's exaggerated pomp and endearing absurdity mirrored Connor's lifelong dedication to performance, a vocation he embraced from the age of 2 when he first appeared on stage. Growing up in post-World War I London, Connor faced a childhood marked by economic hardship and the shadow of societal upheaval, circumstances that instilled resilience and a sharp wit, which later became hallmarks of his comedic style. He navigated early career frustrations, including limited opportunities during the wartime years, and the challenge of typecasting in British comedy, yet these obstacles only honed his craft. Personal tragedy struck when several close family members passed during his adolescence, teaching him to mask vulnerability behind humor, a trait that would define his on-screen persona. Connor's career flourished through the Carry On film series. Yet he was never immune to industry politics, occasionally clashing with directors over creative direction and resisting offers that sought to diminish his comedic influence. In his final decade, he continued working tirelessly, performing almost until his death, even as cancer quietly took hold. Connor passed away on November 28, 1993, at the age of 75, leaving an estate estimated under $500,000, modest yet reflective of a career built on legacy rather than luxury. Beyond financials, his contribution to British comedy, the development of character-driven humor, and his ability to balance dignity with absurdity leave an enduring imprint, making Monsieur Alphonse not just a role, but a reflection of a life lived with devotion to the stage and screen, where every gesture and line carried the weight of decades of experience, wit, and personal resilience. Sam Kelly, born December 19, 1943 in Manchester, began his iconic portrayal of Captain Hans Geering in Allo Allo in 1982 at the age of 39, embodying the absurdly loyal yet comically inept German officer whose clap salute and deadpan delivery became instantly recognizable. Geering's blend of rigidity and cluelessness reflected the delicate balance Kelly achieved between discipline and subtle comedy, captivating audiences and endearing him to generations of fans. Kelly's early life was marked by the working-class struggles of Manchester, including financial instability and frequent family upheavals, forcing him to cultivate a keen sense of observation and a controlled exterior from a young age. This emotional discipline became invaluable in his acting career, allowing him to channel personal hardships into nuanced comedic performances. Despite professional acclaim across stage and screen, including roles in Porridge Barbara and Wicked Kelly, navigated personal isolation, never marrying and maintaining strict privacy about his relationships, suggesting a life tempered by both focus and quiet introspection. His career, while steady, was not without challenges. He faced repeated auditions, rejections, and periods of professional uncertainty. And the stress of sustaining a theater career while managing television commitments left him physically and emotionally drained. In the months preceding his death, Kelly experienced declining health, entering hospice care just a day before passing on June 14, 2014, at the age of 70 from cancer of unknown primary origin. His estate remains undisclosed, yet his enduring influence is evident in British comedy, where his mastery of understated humor, timing, and physical comedy continues to inspire performers. Kelly's gearing remains a symbol of disciplined absurdity, a testament to his ability to transform personal adversity into performances that resonate with subtlety, intelligence, and enduring charm, leaving a quiet but profound void in the theatrical and television landscape. Jack Hedley, born October 28, 1929 in London, appeared as General von Karzabrot in Allo Allo in 1992 at the age of 63, portraying a brief yet commanding presence whose stern demeanor and strict military bearing left an indelible impression despite limited screen time. Hedley's childhood was defined by the turbulence of pre- and post-World War II England, with a family life marked by frequent relocations, strict discipline, and the ever-present reality of national conflict experiences that instilled resilience and a steely resolve that would later inform both his military and acting careers. After training and serving as a Royal Marine Commando, where he endured injuries and the psychological toll of combat, Hedley faced a career crossroads, entering acting by chance rather than design. His early roles in Cold It's For Your Eyes Only and Lawrence of Arabia showcased his physicality and gravitas. Yet he struggled against the capricious nature of casting, occasionally being overlooked for leading roles in favor of more conventionally glamorous actors. Despite professional success, he maintained a distance from celebrity culture, finding solace in privacy and selective ad campaigns that offered financial stability without the encumbrances of fame. Hedley's personal life reflected a stoic and measured approach shaped by the trauma and discipline of his formative years. And though largely scandal-free, he endured the quiet frustrations of a career that demanded compromise and self-effacement. He passed away on December 11, 2021 at the age of 92 from a heart attack, leaving behind an estate likely substantial due to international work and lucrative endorsements. Beyond material wealth, Hedley's legacy is that of an actor whose authenticity, physical presence, and intellectual rigor allowed him to infuse even minor roles with memorable authority. General von Karzabrot's brief but vivid portrayal serves as a crystallization of Hedley's lifelong commitment to grit, precision, and understated excellence, ensuring that his contributions to television and film continue to resonate long after his passing. Roger Hammond was born on March 21, 1936 in Stockport, England, and was 55 when he appeared in Allo Allo in 1991 as the slightly pompous and dignified monk, a role that exemplified his flair for portraying erudite, authoritative figures with subtle humor. On screen, Hammond's monk was both devout and comic, a quiet observer of the chaotic farce reflecting the layers of restraint and eccentricity he often brought to aristocratic or clerical roles. Hammond's early life was shaped by a middle-class upbringing in northern England, where the post-war environment imposed financial constraints and social pressures. He recalled moments of emotional restraint and the necessity to suppress vulnerability experiences that later informed his subtle, nuanced performances. Professionally, Hammond's career was steady, yet exacting a Cambridge graduate and RADA alumnus. He navigated the competitive corridors of British theatre and television, working alongside luminaries such as Ian McKellen and Derek Jacobi, but often faced the frustration of typecasting, pigeonholed into roles of refinement or authority, which limited his creative exploration. Personally, Hammond remained remarkably private, avoiding the tabloids, although colleagues occasionally noted his quietly assertive nature and perfectionist streak, particularly in rehearsal rooms, which could be perceived as aloofness or rigidity. In his later years, he maintained a dignified, low-profile life, balancing occasional screen work with theater until his death on November 8, 2012 at age 76 from cancer. His net worth was never publicly disclosed, though his sustained work in stage and screen suggests a comfortable financial position. Hammond's legacy endures in the richness of his performances, the precision of his character work, and the understated elegance with which he approached both life and craft, leaving a blueprint for portraying authority imbued with humanity, intellect, and humor. Richard Bonehill was born circa 1949 and was 39 when he appeared as a German guard in Allo Allo in 1988, a minor role that belied the remarkable breadth of his career across fencing stunt work and iconic genre films. Bonehill's on-screen guard carried the formality and menace expected of a German officer, yet in real life, he was a fiercely disciplined athlete and performer, representing Britain in 10 consecutive fencing world championships and winning the 2010 Veterans World Saber title feats achieved, despite a childhood shaped by financial insecurity and limited resources in post-war Britain, which taught him resilience and relentless self-discipline. Professionally, Bonehill's life was a study in versatility from stormtroopers and Nien Nunbi in Star Wars to stunt coordination and fencing choreography. He traversed film genres and athletic arenas with ease, yet faced the quiet frustrations of recognition. Delayed roles uncredited and physical risks inherent to stunt work. Off-screen, he was known for meticulous preparation and an almost obsessive focus on technique, occasionally clashing with directors over safety or authenticity, yet he avoided major scandals or public controversies. Bonehill's personal life was marked by modesty and dedication to his craft, though the pressures of maintaining peak physical condition into later years and awaiting a heart transplant undoubtedly shaped his final decades. He died on January 29, 2015 at age 66 from heart complications while awaiting transplant surgery. His estate was likely modest, reflecting earnings primarily from niche performance work. Yet his legacy is immense in its quiet influence, a man who bridged athletic stunt artistry and film, whose disciplined versatility continues to inspire performers in multiple spheres. Eric Dodson was born on December 1, 1920 in Peterborough, England, and was 71 when he appeared as an intelligence officer in Allo Allo in 1991, a role that capitalized on his real-life military experience and conveyed both authority and understated humor. Dodson's character was methodical, observant, and quietly commanding, echoing the qualities honed during his service in the Royal Air Force during World War II, where he flew bombers and operated in Yugoslavia under hazardous conditions, experiences that instilled discipline, resilience, and an intimate understanding of risk. His childhood was modest and shaped by interwar economic hardship, fostering resourcefulness and a stoic demeanor that later became hallmarks of his professional and personal identity. Dodson's career in acting after the war was steady, but physically and emotionally demanding, from appearances in Doctor Who to Rumpole of the Bailey. He navigated the often unforgiving landscape of British television, balancing the typecasting pressures of military or official roles with a desire to explore a breadth of characters. He avoided scandal and public controversy, cultivating a private life focused on music, including harpsichord building and church organ performance, a personal passion that offered solace and creative fulfillment. Dodson passed away on January 13, 2000 at age 79 after a long illness. While his net worth was never publicized, his lifestyle reflected modest comfort, sustained by decades of consistent work. His legacy is layered a blend of military heroism, artistic integrity, and disciplined professionalism that informed both his screen presence and off-screen life, leaving behind a quiet but indelible imprint on British television and theater, a testament to perseverance, skill, and understated excellence. Jeremy Lloyd was born on July 22, 1930 in Danbury, Essex, and was 62 when he appeared as Wolfgang in Allo Allo in 1992, a German officer whose clip delivery and precise timing made even brief appearances memorable. On screen, Wolfgang was at once officious and comically rigid, an embodiment of Lloyd's own sharp sense of humor, an understanding of human absurdity, and his portrayal added texture to the farcical yet tension-filled world of the show. Behind the scenes, Lloyd's life was a patchwork of creativity, romance, and recurring instability. Raised by his grandmother after being abandoned by his parents, He endured early emotional neglect, social alienation, and financial insecurity experiences that instilled both resilience and a compulsive drive to entertain. As a young man, he experienced several romantic entanglements and brief marriages, including a highly publicized union with Joanna Lumley, and periods of emotional volatility that coincided with his burgeoning career in theater and television. Professionally, Lloyd's genius lay in his ability to craft comedic narratives that blended with satire and social commentary. Yet he faced ongoing pressures from networks' critical scrutiny and the necessity to continually produce commercially successful content, which at times led to creative exhaustion. Despite earning considerable acclaim and eventually being awarded an OBE in 2012, he struggled with financial mismanagement, leading to a lifetime of debts. He also faced bouts of health challenges, including the emotional and psychological toll of intensive writing schedules and public scrutiny. On December 23, 2014, Jeremy Lloyd died at age 84 from pneumonia, leaving an estate valued at a mere $59,218 entirely consumed by debts. His legacy, however, remains enormous as a writer, actor, and cultural provocateur. He shaped British sitcom comedy, leaving behind a body of work that continues to influence writers and performers, and a personal narrative that underscores the complex interplay between genius, personal vulnerability, and the merciless demands of fame. Stanley Labor was born on September 24, 1934 in East Ham, London, and was 57 when he played the gypsy leader in Allo Allo in 1991, a role that leveraged his deep resonant voice and commanding presence to inject authority and gravitas into the show's chaotic comedic narrative. Lieber's characters often balanced menace and wit, creating layered performances that made even supporting roles indelible. His early life was shaped by modest means and the social strictures of East London. Growing up during wartime Britain, he witnessed economic hardship, familial stress, and the pressures of a working-class education experiences that cultivated both discipline and a persistent inner tension. Lieber trained at RADA, winning the Carlton Hobbs Bursary, and forged a career that spanned theater, film, and television, often portraying military or bureaucratic figures. Yet, he faced the constant struggle of typecasting and professional marginalization. While professionally respected, he experienced private frustrations, the intermittent scarcity of work, moments of being overlooked for more prominent roles, and occasional clashes with directors over character interpretation. Off-screen, Lieber engaged in political activism, appearing in broadcasts for the SDP Liberal Alliance, yet he maintained a fiercely private personal life, avoiding scandal and cultivating a reputation as a disciplined, if somewhat enigmatic actor. His personal challenges included navigating the balance between a demanding career and private fulfillment, coping with social isolation inherent to his profession, and managing the pressures of maintaining credibility in a competitive field. Stanley Lieber passed away quietly on November 23, 2014 at age 80, leaving behind no significant estate valuation. But his legacy endures through his extensive body of work, which combined intellectual precision, subtle humor, and a presence that commanded attention without dominating the stage, and through the influence he had on colleagues and audiences who recognized the meticulous artistry behind every performance. John Bluthal was born on August 12, 1929 in Jezirzany, Poland, and was 55 when he portrayed the tailor in Allo Allo in 1984, a role that exemplified his ability to imbue minor characters with charm, comedic nuance, and human relatability. The tailor, meticulous and often exasperated by the absurdity surrounding him, mirrored Bluthal's own capacity to observe, adapt, and translate the human condition into humor. His early life was defined by upheaval and trauma as part of a Jewish family. In pre-war Poland, he fled with his family in 1938 to escape rising anti-Semitism, experiencing displacement, loss, and uncertainty that left lasting emotional scars and informed his deep empathy and subtle understanding of character psychology. Professionally, Bluthal navigated a career across continents from Australia to the UK, working with legends such as Spike Milligan and performing in productions including The Vicar of Dibley, Casino Royale, and Dark City. He faced the recurring difficulties of typecasting cultural adjustment, and the challenges of sustaining a career in multiple entertainment industries while maintaining personal integrity. Bluthall's personal life bore the weight of exile, the deaths of family members, and the psychological toll of continuous adaptation. Yet he channeled these experiences into performances rich with depth and humanity. Known for his vocal versatility and impeccable comedic timing, he often elevated ensemble pieces and minor roles to unforgettable moments. He passed away on November 15, 2018 in Sydney, Australia, aged 89, having lived modestly and prioritized craft over celebrity, with his net worth never widely publicized. Bluthall's legacy transcends material wealth. His resilience, artistic adaptability, and ability to transform personal adversity into universally resonant humor and warmth cement him as a figure whose influence on stage and screen remains profound and enduring. Peggy Ann Clifford, born March 23, 1921 in Poole, Dorset, was 64 when she appeared in Allo Allo in 1985 as the French Lady, a brief yet vividly memorable character whose presence added a delicate comedic texture to the show's chaotic wartime setting. Clifford's on-screen image was of a prim, slightly eccentric matron, often delivering lines with a sharp wit that belied her small stature, yet behind the scenes, her life told a more complex story. She was born into modest circumstances and experienced a childhood marked by financial hardship and social limitations, which instilled in her a blend of resilience and quiet determination. She often concealed her ambitions behind humility and a keen sense of observation. Throughout her life, Clifford endured personal and professional upheavals. She juggled small theater and film roles while managing a grocery shop purchased with the proceeds of a block of flats sale, demonstrating both ingenuity and survival instinct. But she also faced the emotional strain of a career with fleeting recognition, sporadic work, and limited financial security. Professionally, she was highly respected for bringing depth to minor characters, yet the inconsistent nature of acting work left her vulnerable to periods of obscurity and financial anxiety, a challenge she met with steadfast dedication. In her later years, she experienced isolation, having no known heirs, and continued to navigate the fragile intersection between livelihood and artistic expression until her death on May 26, 1986, at age 65. Her legacy, though quietly held, is emblematic of the unsung contributors to British comedy performers, whose talent and professionalism enriched every scene they touched, leaving an enduring mark on audiences and colleagues alike, even if her material estate remains unvalued and largely intangible, preserved in the memory of her art and presence. Michael Sheard, born June 18, 1938 in Aberdeen, Scotland, was 54 when he appeared in Allo Allo in 1992 as Goering's double, a role that capitalized on his mastery of comic villainy and impeccable timing, making a fleeting performance unforgettable through subtle expressions and impeccable mimicry. Sheard's on-screen presence often projected authority menace or exaggerated pomposity, earning him repeated casting as Hitler or similar historical figures, a niche that both defined and confined his career. His early life was shaped by post-war Scottish austerity and the loss of familial stability experiences that fostered a pragmatic approach to work and an almost monastic dedication to craft, hiding personal vulnerabilities behind professional discipline. Sheard navigated numerous career highs and lows. He became a cult figure through Star Wars and other genre roles, yet the repetitive villain typecasting created tension and occasional frustration, a psychological burden that he mitigated through memoir writing and deep engagement with fan communities. Off-screen, he faced the quiet tragedies common to lifelong performers, the ongoing challenge of balancing domestic life with touring and filming schedules, the gradual physical toll of age, and a need to preserve personal dignity amid typecasting pressures. Sheard lived modestly on the Isle of Wight, with his wife and 3 children maintaining a reputation for warmth and mentorship, despite the macabre or intimidating characters he portrayed. He died of cancer on August 30, 2005, aged 67, leaving behind a legacy of nuanced villainy, devoted fan recognition, and cultural imprint across both television and film. While his net worth was never publicized, the intangible value of his performances endures in popular memory, illustrating the paradox of a gentle, thoughtful man whose professional image thrived on menace and theatrical precision. Though time has passed, the laughter they gave us still echoes. The cast of Allo. Allo brought joy to millions, and even though some of them are no longer with us, their performances live on. As we remember those we've lost, we also celebrate the legacy they left behind, one that continues to entertain and connect generations. Thank you for joining us in honoring these unforgettable stars. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tributes to the legends of television history.